Daybreak Game Company has today announced that it has taken on Larry Lappiere as its new Senior Vice President of Games. Why is that important, and why has it rustled so many jimmies in the community? Well, I'm going to try and answer that in this completely unscripted video. I'm just going with the flow basically, because I thought it was an interesting topic to cover and something that you can sort of rant and rave about. But basically, I've been trying to look into Lappiere's past, and actually it's quite difficult to see exactly what he's been doing in these companies that he previously has been with, so you'll have to bear with that. The reason why jimmies are rustled so much is because of a very big buzzword in his past employment, and that is Zynga. What's Zynga? Well, it's a mobile gaming company very well known for its microtransactions, its questionable approach to intellectual property, and generally just carries quite a lot of stigma with it. And Larry Lappiere was the company's general manager. It's not just the Zynga title that's got everybody a bit worked up, but also the EA title. Except though, when I've been trying to look into his EA contributions, it seems to all link back to Need for Speed games and doesn't really bear anything on the idea of online games or monetization. At least I don't know that much about Need for Speed. Maybe they did introduce some sort of microtransaction system, but that was towards the end of 2011, and I think that was just when Battlefield 3 came out, so it was quite a long time ago. How do their fears relate to PlanetSide 2 and all the other games then? Well, I think everyone fears a quick switch to microtransactions and trying to gather as much money as possible in the short term, and PlanetSide 2 in general has lots of microtransactions already, of course, but everything is pretty much a side grade, and nothing really is pay to win, so thus far it has been good. I mean, it's still got a lot of microtransactions, and I've voiced my opinion before that I would have liked the game to be a pay-to-play game, but obviously a lot of people disagree with that. Some people like the free-to-play model, especially if they're living in countries with not a lot of wealth and it's their only way to play games. But like with most people, I think that cutting off content to the larger player base isn't the best idea at the moment, and could definitely sway a lot of players that are already on a tightrope as to whether or not they want to keep on playing. Is any of this founded in reality though? Well, one of the worries is that they use the phrase with a primary near-term focus on growing the latest franchise in H1Z1, and the idea that there's a near-term focus and that there's not a sort of long-term focus has knocked a lot of people. And there wasn't a statement regarding the long-term future of any of the other games. It was only focusing on H1Z1, which is kind of sad for the PlanetSide community, landmark community. But you have to remember that this statement is tiny. It's literally contained in one paragraph. So going completely overboard on what he said now is not really realistic. The wait-and-see approach as to what he'll say about the games and maybe some response to everybody's anxieties would be very appreciated, or some sort of response from Daybreak, but we may never see that. It's been a primary fear that the company will try and flip as much profit as quickly as possible, and then the company be resold ever since Columbus Nova took PlanetSide 2 over and created Daybreak Games. There was a lot of angst that at the time Columbus Nova were pulling PlanetSide 2 and just trying to milk it for what it was worth, and if not, flipping it and selling it on again. But as always, you really do need to see what actually happens to judge whether or not this is going to be a positive or negative change. And hey, if his focus is on H1Z1 at the moment, then perhaps it won't have much of an effect on PlanetSide 2 at all. And we never know, he may recognise that this market is very different to the mobile market, and the current state of PlanetSide 2 as it is probably couldn't take on any more sort of heavy-handed microtransactions or monetization, and already has a community that is loyal but fatigued in some ways and awaiting the construction system to come out. Or at the very least, perhaps we have made our voices clear in the Reddit and in this video and other avenues that he does need to step carefully with what he changes in PlanetSide 2, But let's just hope that we don't end up forgotten as well, because that might just be as bad. That being said, it has been extremely hard to get some information on what he's actually done. There are so many articles already out that are spamming Google with Daybreak Games, Larry Lappiere's new news and his new station. But there doesn't seem to be that much in-depth as to what exactly he did at these companies. And I mean, looking on his LinkedIn, we can see which games he worked on: Skate 3 and Need for Speed The Run, Need for Speed Pro Street. I don't even really know these games, to be honest. But I don't remember there being much controversy about microtransactions in car games. There is still the positive aspect of the construction system being on the horizon. And whilst this is quite a worrying revelation, it's hard to tell exactly what direction they will take and how they will look at the market. The hope is that they will have some sort of long-term plan for the games, and that they don't sort of assign them to burn it, and if it lights as a strong fire, then we'll keep it, or if it just fizzles out, then we'll leave it and ditch it, because that approach could kill the game. And I suppose that's the biggest worry for everybody at the moment. So perhaps that gaming crucifix and garlic in your hands currently isn't necessary, but only time will tell if we are diving into the pit of oblivion. So what does everyone else think? Is anyone else concerned, or do you think things will just carry on as normal? Perhaps that's just how it'll be. The developers just carry on as normal. And maybe these new acquisitions of members may mean more employees in the future, but we'll just have to see. And maybe their market vision will be realistic and may be able to break in. But we are going to be on the edge of our seats. Be sure to comment with your own opinions in the comments below. And like this video if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you thought it was pants. And if you want to see more of my content, then be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be putting out a Paragon video very soon. I'm hopefully putting out some sort of new PlanetSide video. I'm not exactly sure what exactly it'll be yet. Maybe a sister challenge like a lot of people have suggested, but we'll just have to see. Until next time everybody, Joshino.